Now, in the event that I don't want my objects to all wind up on the same line, but instead I want to force them to break down onto the next available line, I have to use a CSS property called clear, and the clear property has 3 different values that we can use. We can use clear left, clear right, or clear both. So what clear left would do is it would move content below any left floating objects, and clear right would move content below any right floating objects, but I like clear both because it's going to move content below any left and right floating objects. It's a little bit more bulletproof. Now, you're probably sitting there going, what is he talking about? Okay, let me show you what's up here. So let's say, for example, I have this layout here. Let's say I want to put another div running right along the bottom of the red boxes here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to code this out real quick here. I'm going to grab my last div and I'll copy him and paste him in here. And I'm going to give him a class of footer. And then let's see here. I'm going to come into my internal style sheet, dot footer, open squiggly, close squiggly, and make sure my cursor is between my squiggly brackets. And let's see here, width. Let's see, we'll use 200 pixels, and height, we'll use just 50 pixels. How's that? And I'll throw a background in here, a background of yellow. Very lovely. I'm going to copy my border from the previous rule there and just paste that in there, something like that. Okay, so if I leave it the way it is and just refresh, well, it doesn't work at all, does it? Oh, that's because I put a full colon in there instead of a semicolon after my background color. Refresh there. There we go. So there's my new div way back behind all my red divs because, again, the red guys are taken out of the normal flow of the document, don't forget, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to float him as well. I'm going to float him to the left. Float left. There we are. Refresh. There we go. Something like that. But I don't want the yellow guy to be here. I want him to be down below the red divs, don't forget. So what I need to do is I need to use this clear property. So right after my float left property, I'm going to type in clear, full colon space, both, semicolon. So it's almost like, if you know what a forced line break is, or a soft return from the word processing world, it's the same sort of idea. That's how I think of it anyway. So this object is now forced down onto the next available line, just like this, right? So I hope that makes sense. Pretty cool. You know, I'll give you another quick example of where you might want to use clear. Let's say, for example, how many boxes do I have here? 8 boxes. So let's say I want 2 rows of 4 boxes, right? So this box here, the 5th box, I want him to break onto the next available line. So what I could actually do is I could use some inline CSS, which I do from time to time. Now, the reason why I'm using inline CSS is because all of my divs, other than the footer, are under the control of the box class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find that 5th div there, and I'm going to say, make sure he's under the control of the box class, but then I also want to throw on a couple of extras, a couple of extra attributes. And I'm going to do so using some inline formatting here. So I'm going to type in style equals, open quote, clear, full colon space, both, semicolon, close quote, save it up, refresh, and we wind up with something like this. So what I've done is I've told this div here, the 5th div, to break onto the next available line of space, if that makes sense. And again, I did so using an inline rule, which again I do from time to time there. So does that make sense, working with clear? Again, I think of it as a forced line break or a soft return. I hope that's working for you.